All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Chris Crenshaw, and we are live from the 704 once again for episode 209 of the 815 Exchange. And well, I mean, what a week. All right, what a week. We are in the midst. All right, we are in the thick. We have reached the midway point of the Olympics. So yeah, we got plenty to talk about there in what is going to, of course, be the main event of today's episode. And of course, we had combat sports, which Chris, there wasn't, a major, I guess there was somewhat of a major boxing event and there wasn't, a major UFC card, but what happened in those two events we do have to discuss, and that will kick us off. And of course, we do have the House of the Dragon finale, which leaked. And of course, we will see. I haven't seen it yet at the time I'm recording this, but of course, by the time I do talk about it for entertainment, I will have seen it. And we'll see if the leaks, added up. We'll see if the leaks and if, how similar they were. But we had that, and Tory Lanez continues to produce more heat from prison. So yeah, plenty to talk about. Aaron Judge and Jackson Holiday in the Roundup, but yeah. Plenty to talk about. As always, remember to like, share, and subscribe if you guys are enjoying the content. And as always, if there's I almost did the Ocho Reacts thing. Oh my goodness. As always, if there's anything you were looking for in this life, it can be found in my description. As I always say, timestamps embedded in the video, but also provided in the description. It's long form content. I know it. Listen, skip ahead. So if you want to hear me talk about Paris Olympics, go ahead straight to the Olympics. You're ready to hear me talk about the fight game, then, stay tuned. All right, stay tuned. But timestamps in the description and embedded in the video. My social media links are in the outro and also in the description. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this show on the road. Let's get this thing on the road. Let's talk about the fight game. All right, we got combat sports kicking us off. And listen, Bud Crawford, okay, moving up to 154, moving up for his junior middleweight debut, going against Madrimov. And listen, I didn't even care to mention Madrimov's name last week. I was disrespecting him. I'll come out and say it. I was disrespecting him. Everybody in the world was disrespecting. Nobody gave Madrimov a chance in this fight. But you know what? He earned some respect back. And I did have a inkling. I had a thought before the fight on Saturday last night. And I was like, you know what? This is another step up. And whenever a fighter is stepping up, it's always, you do have to consider things. You consider, is everything going to translate the way it has translated at the previous weight classes, and in this case for Terrence Bud Crawford? And for the most part, it did. But the power that, had created this finish streak that Bud was on didn't really translate. It didn't really translate, and Madrimov fought a very interesting style where he was making, I think, Bud miss a lot more than Bud has, become accustomed to. And was just a different style. At a higher weight class with a little bit more strength. He was clearly stronger than Bud, which I don't think Bud has really ever kind of, dealt with before. So Madrimov exposed some holes, at least at 154, that Bud may have, but Bud is still Bud. All right, at the end of the day, Bud Crawford is still Bud Crawford. He is still arguably the pound-for-pound number one fighter on the planet for a reason. And he does get the unanimous decision and collects another belt at a different weight class. I think this is his fourth different weight class where he's collected a world title. So yeah, credit where credit's due, but still, I think we need to cool off, I will say, on the Canelo hype and him potentially fighting Canelo. Because Canelo is up here fighting sometimes at 174, right? He went against Bivol at 174. And even Canelo, who's coming down, and he's going to fight Berlanga, which 3 years ago, man, you tell me that 3 years ago, we're like, yo, we got one last super fight for Canelo, but now it's, not the same. As Berlanga's stock has gone from prospect of the year to one of the most overrated boxers many people believe on the planet. So he's doing that, but even still, in that state of Canelo not being, prime Canelo, I would still favor him over Bud Crawford at whatever, 160, if he went up to that. So I just don't think, I think we're reaching that hard limit for Bud in terms of how far he can go. I wouldn't mind seeing him. If he wants to stick at 154, that's fine. See what he can do. See if he can go undisputed there. But also, he does have boots in this, like I've been saying, at 147, which I think is a fight a lot of people want to see, and I think is a better fight than Bud versus Canelo, even though those are the two bigger names. But still, Crawford being able to prove, hey, I'm the best this generation against the guy many people have tabbed is up next. I think that would be very interesting, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, Bud gets it done versus Madrimov, but you know what? Madrimov does earn a lot of respect in this one and does raise his stock. And yeah, we're seeing that, there are in fact limits to this weight class game. that wasn't the only thing that happened in boxing. And I have to mention this. I'll mention it very briefly. Jared Big Baby Anderson, one of the hottest heavyweight prospects, unfortunately fell to what has happened to pretty much all of the, highly touted heavyweight prospects in boxing, especially the Americans one lately. And yeah, he got knocked out. All right, but Coley, I have, my goodness, was dribbling this man's head. It looked like he was a punching bag. He was punch drunk. Because he was just going jab, jab, straight, jab, jab, straight, jab, jab, straight. I mean, it was like watching a video game against a player that doesn't know how to defend. I mean, he was dribbling his head in real time. And yeah, he puts down Anderson multiple times to get the knockout. A great performance from McCauley. So credit where credit's due. But yeah, Jared Anderson, again, another hype train that has stalled and now crashed out in the heavyweight scene. But yeah, we'll see what happens there. UFC had a card that would have been worthy of a regular card. I'm going to be completely honest with you with the talent on here. But we'll talk about 3 major fights that happened on this thing. The main event, of course, was Umar Nurmagomedov. Khabib's cousin. I don't, or is Umar Khabib's brother? I think he's his cousin. But again, another family of another, one of the great Dagestanis, the great, Dagestani family of MMA. Which is, I mean, at this point, they're MMA royalty, let's be real. But yeah, Umar gets it done against Corey Sandhagen, which pretty much means he's next up at Bantamweight, which, I mean, we've all had him tapped. He's undefeated for a reason. He was in this spot for a reason. Yeah, he just looks like a monster. No weaknesses. Once again, similar to like what we were talking about with Islam. Again, I don't know what they're doing in Dagestan, but it's an MMA printing factory currently, and especially amongst that family. But yeah, he has no weaknesses, no apparent weaknesses. But this was some of the most high, for a non-championship fight, this was honestly some of the most high-level MMA you will ever watch. So I would highly recommend, if you can find a replay of it, go rewatch it. Because it was very, I mean, even if you're a Corey Sandhagen fan, which will probably be a little painful, but still, Corey fought very, very well. It's just, Umar is next up for a reason. He's highly regarded for a reason. He showed that. He gets the UD. He should be next up for a title shot. We will see what happens. But yeah, Umar is the truth. You know who else is the truth? We've called him a serial killer. We've called him everything. The little demon of violence, whatever you want to call him. All right, Figgy. Davison Figueiredo. People were worried when he went up in weight class, but he's still, he's no longer with the quote-unquote little guy, so to speak. With the power still translate. Ask Cheeto Vera, who got knocked down for the first time in his life. If the power is translating. And then Cheeto is still Cheeto, one of the sorest losers, and again, I never understood. I think it's just because people don't like, of course, Sugar Sean. I never understood the whole hype around Cheeto and he's lack for a better term, he's not a great person. He's really not a great person. He's a solid fighter, but never understood the whole fandom that was around him besides people that hate Sugar Sean. Because yeah, it was more Cheeto antics again. Him being upset even though he clearly lost. He does this all the time. But yeah, Figgy put him to work. Alright, Figgy put him to work. Alright, showed why he's a future Hall of Famer. He gets the UD. And like I said, it's the first man to knock down Marlon Cheeto Vera. So yeah, Figgy continues to rise, man. 135 getting hot. 135 is getting woof. It's getting hot out there. Alright, it is getting hot. We got nothing but killers. That's a whole top 15 is just dangerous. Just a bunch of dangerous men. So yeah, Figgy adds to that. He keeps the momentum going. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleading with Dana White or whoever is in charge, because apparently nobody around Tony Ferguson will do it. I am begging, please force Tony to retire. Or at the very least, cut him. I'm sorry. He's a legend, Hall of Famer. We all love El Cucoy, but it's done. It's done. He's done. We've been saying this for... This losing streak started in 2019? I think we got over it. It's 2024 and about 2021. 8 straight losses is the longest losing streak in UFC history. He has surpassed BJ Penn. This is just sad. I'm tired of seeing him trot out there, claim that, hey, CSO is back, and then he gets finished. Michael Chiesa, in this, example, chokes him out in the first round. How many times do we have to see this story over and over and over again? And now this time he leaves one glove which usually symbols, if you leave the gloves in the, octagon or the ring, that's it as a fighter. But he left one so he can. He's done. All right, please, Tony, please, we are begging you. All right, there is life after fighting. Believe it or not, you don't have to keep doing this. All right, I would hope you have enough money where you don't have to keep doing this because it's just sad. All right, I don't even want to see you in bare knuckle or Bellator after that. Just retire, retire. He's not even like, I can't even make a joke about like, yo, random team, former legend on some random underperforming team washed. Like Jordan on the Wizards or Montana on the G. Like, I can't even do that. I can't do that. He's more washed than that. He's like an old rag that just keeps getting washed over and over. It's just terrible, all right? It's just, he needs to go. Somebody take him out back and put him down because it's done. All right, it's done. El Kakoi is dead. It's over. Please retire, Tony. And Dana, if he doesn't want to retire, cut him. All right, so you're at least not liable when he decides to die in the octagon, okay? Because it's over, okay? Please retire. Chiesa gets it done. He did what he was supposed to do, but hopefully that is the end of El Kakoi. Because boy, oh boy, has he tarnished his legacy with everything that's happened since 2019. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached entertainment and, well, House of the Dragon finale, okay? Last time we're talking about it for another 2 years, because, well, actually, technically speaking, we do have Dunkin' Egg coming next year. Which, I mean, they're producing that pretty fast. They're dropping teasers for it and everything. So, 1 year hiatus, but 2 years, at least until the next House of the Dragon. And, yeah, so the leaks were completely accurate, okay? Not that that's a surprise, because it's not the first time it's actually happened to a Game of Thrones. But, how do we feel? How do we feel? How do we feel? How do we feel? I feel like I have issues. I think it was overall, like, technically speaking, I feel like if you went in without any knowledge of what happened in the books, then this might have been a somewhat satisfying finale. But I feel like it's going to be really hard for people that know the lore and know the books to really kind of be able to cope with the results of really this season. Because it feels like we just kind of went in like a little bit of a circle, and I'm not really sure why. The last season ended off with this like prelude to war, right? It set the stage. And then once again, we had another season here in season 2 that was essentially just served to set the stage. And I understand you have to make people feel things about the dragon seeds and about these other elements of the war, but it's just like we did all this just to end up in the same place. You know what I mean? So that's really my main kind of issue with the show. It was just the pacing. They haven't been able to find that right combo of pacing. But just kind of looking back at the episode, the Thailand just kind of arc over in Pintos and Essos was interesting, meeting with the Triarchy. And then, I guess he got him a little maiden, that's going to help him, set the seas and go against the Sea Snake. I did love, and I've loved throughout this season, and it's been one of my surprises, is the dynamic between Corlys and Alan and Adam, and just kind of seeing the way they kind of expanded on that and explored, and really we got to see what that relationship looked like. So I really did, and I enjoyed those scenes once again here in the episode. I think that was some of the best scenes. Of course, what everybody's going to be talking about, of course, is Alyssa and Rhaenyra. And and it makes sense. Again, Olivia Cook, wonderful, beautiful woman, wonderful actor. Emma Darcy, wonderful actor. But I feel like there's too much of an emphasis on, like, I get that those are the two, like, alongside probably, like, Daemon or, like, the anchor main characters of the show. But at this point in the conflict, it's like Alicent's not really playing this major role. It doesn't make sense why Alicent's run back to Dragonstone to sell out her son, who, by the way, spoiler alert, is not going to be there, as we saw us leave it off with Larry's in that ending montage. So it's just like, I get it, like, you're trying to explore the dynamics of the relationship and all of it, but I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that. At this stage, like, it doesn't make any sense that we're still playing so heavily and we're having to have scenes of Rhaenyra and Alyssa. Like, I get at the beginning for season 1 that made complete sense, but here in season 2, I feel like it's just more interesting character dynamics for us to explore. Daemon swearing fealty. to Rhaenyra, I think was a really cool scene, and it's a nice setup for what should happen in King's Landing. So but it'd have been nice if King's Landing followed that. But again, it's not there. But whatever. But what else happened? Aemon and Helena, though that was good to see, kind of see the dynamics of the relationship. Of course, Helena was never going out on Dreamfire, but it kind of sells Aemon's, how desperate he is and how he's just kind of all alone, which is I think is really fitting for his character, who's always felt alone, and now he's gotten power, he's gotten almost what he wants, but now he feels something to his glass because he has no one. So I think that's a really good motivation for his character to end up going to Harrenhal, and we see what happens there, and maybe him eventually meeting Alice and what happens. Very interesting though. Very interesting. Spoiler alert for those that haven't seen. I'll give you a moment to skip ahead if you're still watching this. But very interesting to tell both characters, both Daemon and Aemon, both know about God's Eye now, which makes it very interesting that they both know that they're going to die there. Why they would both. I mean, they can make it work. And I'm sure. I mean, and honestly, I think the way to make it work is that they're both going to show up because they want to do this regardless, right? If we're going to die, let's give the gods a show, the two royal princes. So they can make it work, but I mean, interesting direction to go in. But yeah, like I said, I mean, I have some issues with the pacing. I think there should have been more action. I feel like, I don't know if we're trying to make this a longer series than necessary, because it's like, I don't even know if we're getting this in 2 years. If y'all took this long with the CG, and the way y'all set this up is y'all should have nonstop. I mean, we have a lot of things to cram into a season 3, so I really don't know why. Again, my issues were pacing, Rhaenyra, too much of an emphasis on Rhaenyra and Alicent. Even though Rhaenyra obviously is the main character, but too much of an emphasis on that relationship and not enough emphasis in other places where it's more necessary. I just I overall like the season, of course, but I just don't think that it was as well done in the writing. It wasn't up to like this elite. It was pretty good. It was a solid season, but it was like we waited so long for this. So it's a little underwhelming, I will say. But, the House of the Dragon season finale has come and gone. And yeah, we will now be in our wait. We will be in our watch until then. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, hopefully season 3 should be crazy. But, it's how long it's going to take to get to it. Other stuff that happened in telly, because nothing happened in movies except for Wolverine and Deadpool just running it up. The new season, I did watch the new season, I started at least, of Too Hot to Handle, which is absolute garbage. Okay? Even more garbage than, I know it's garbage reality, like dating, but it's trash this year. I'm not gonna lie. Hot, stinking garbage. I don't know if I'm gonna finish it. It's bad. Okay? It's bad. It's not even really that entertaining. I'm not gonna lie to you. So yeah, Too Hot to Handle, not it. Batman Crusader. That's on Amazon. That was hitting. I watched episode 1 today. That was hitting. One to watch. We'll talk about that more as it goes on. But yeah, in music, back to main topics, popping something up. We had more prison tapes from Tory Lanez. Know What You Need and Shots Come For Free, which is a crazy title. Considering what he's currently in prison for. But yeah, I don't know how. I mean, I have suspicions of, maybe, we snuck a little mini studio into. But again, if the engineer and Tory are really pulling this off from off a gel phone, absolutely insane, incredible ingenuity. But yeah, to still be producing this quality of music from prison is it's an impressive feat. It's an impressive feat for Tory. Again, 4 for 4. He's 4 for 4. I'm guessing this is leading to a project. I said it last week. I'll say it again. I think this is probably leading to something probably called Prison Tapes. And yeah, it's off to a good start. I don't know if he's doing this 2 songs every week, but I'm here for it. It's been good music. So yeah, shout out to Tory, producing even from a prison cell, or what is the equivalent of a celebrity prison cell. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is entertainment. House of the Dragon. Shaky. It's real shaky. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the main event, which of course can only be one thing. That is the Petty Olympiad. So yes, all right, we're gonna start. I mean, there's plenty of places to start, but because my gosh, this might be one of the longest I won't say that, but this is gonna settle in. All right, I hope you got your food and your snack for this one, because it's a lot. All right, we got a lot to recap this week. Let's start off with tennis. Okay, we talked about. I mean, one of the top. I mean, honestly, that is like the non-big three subjects we talk about. Tennis has been a big riser, and I've really enjoyed the tennis scene of late. With the new generation kind of coming on. But yes, Novak and Carlitos once again, the goat versus the baby goat, and once again, it's Novak Djokovic avenging another like historic. It's crazy. Both times that the torch, like the first sign, right, last year, it was like, okay, the torch is now, we're ushering a new era. Then Djokovic later on in the year, I think at Cincinnati, avenged the loss, right? Then here we go, the torch snatching, as I deemed it, from Carlitos. That really, it's his era now. But hey, Joker said, you know what? I got one last thing. Before I sign off, before I close the show, my body is starting to fail me. I have one knee, but I have one thing. One thing that I haven't done. I've done everything else, won everything else more than anybody else in the history of tennis. But there's one thing that I have not won. And that is an Olympic gold medal. One thing. So, what does he deliver? He delivers 2 sets of some of the best tennis we've seen from Novak Djokovic in a very, very long time. He was the GOAT in full effect. I mean, Carlitos wasn't his best by any means, but it just was, I don't think Noah was being denied today. I'm going to be honest. I don't think he was being denied. Like, he looked like prime Djokovic at certain points. Like, there was no semblance of the injury, no semblance of his age. Like, he was not going to be denied of this moment. It was just one of those times where one of the great ones in a specific discipline just takes over. That's what happened. It wasn't really an indictment on Carlos and where he is. And again, Carlos is Carlos 20, not even 22 yet. And God willing, once again, that we don't get robbed of his greatness by an injury. He'll have more opportunities. And of course, of all of the, I guess the 3 that we've called the GOAT at some point during this generation of Fed, Nadal, and Joker, Fed never won an Olympic gold medal. So it's like, it's not the end of the world. And again, Carlitos should have many, many opportunities to win everything there is to win. But Noel in this last chance, in his last dance here at the Olympics, I just don't think he was going to be denied. The way he was playing today, I think was some of the best tennis. It was the old level of Noel, and no matter how good Carlitos played, I don't know if it would have been enough today, because I just think, like I said, Noel was on. He was just on. He was just on, and it was a great performance, and I got to tip my hat to, again, a guy who many will regard as the greatest tennis player to ever live, for completing tennis. So yeah, congrats to Novak. He wins the gold medal in men's tennis. We had all of the drama in the women's side. I don't want to butcher her name, so I'm going to actually look this up live. But Iga was very unhappy, but a lot of people have had a lot of issues with Iga when she does not win, because she doesn't go about it the best way, I will say. But I do want to give a shout out, though, to Qinwei Zhang for getting it done, Olympic gold medal for China. She played great. I mean, took down some big dogs. She was the one that took out Coco, I believe, correct? Took out Iga, and then, of course, takes out Vekic in the final. So, yeah, credit where credit's due. She, ran the table, ran the gauntlet, and it was the last woman standing. So, yeah, credit where credit's due. And, yeah, that's Olympic tennis. Let's talk about what's been one of the dominating subjects of this. Honestly, it's been the dominant of the first part of the Olympics. It was all about gymnastics. All right, it was all about women's gymnastics and all about, should we call them the Golden Girls, which is like the PG name, or the Around and Find Out team? Like which one? If we're talking about Michaela Skinner, we probably should say the Around and Find Out team. If we're talking about them in general, we should probably just say the Golden Girls. But yes, Team USA does in fact win that team individual medal. So yeah, shout out to Simone, Suni, Jordan, Jade. Shout out to them. All right, shout out to him. Miss Rivera, by the way, 16, all right, or 15, 16 or 15, youngest member of Team USA. So yeah, hopefully she can be one of those like core members. And if Suni wants to come back, I guess, going forward. I guess Jade and Jordan are also in somewhat, just like a little bit older than Suni. So I guess they could be back if they wanted to or don't retire. But yeah, and I mean, Simone is the GOAT. By the way, Simone is the GOAT. She pretty much cemented it. She won the all-around title. Shout out to Rebecca Andrade of Brazil. She was fantastic as well. Great story, by the way. Great story. Doing absolute wonders for this Brazilian Federation and just for gymnastics in general in Brazil. So yeah, shout out to Andrade. But also Simone, like I said, she's the GOAT. All right, one of the greatest athletes of all time. The gymnastics GOAT, like I said. She is at, let's see, 10 Olympic medals after today or currently. By the time you watch this, it could be 5 in just this Olympics. She's got 2 more events to go. So yeah, she's gotten 3 golds so far. She won vault, individual, and of course the team challenge. She still has floor and balance beams to go. So yeah, the GOAT could continue to add to that total. She's got 7 golds right now, old time. But yeah, she could get close to Katie, who we're about to talk about in terms of all-time rankings, in terms of medals. So yeah, Simone, Goaty, McGoat, Goat, McGoat, McGoat, Goat, Goat, Goaty, Goat, Goaty, Goat, Goat, Goat of the Goat of the highest honor. All right, and get off my boy Jonathan Owens. Listen, if my wife was Simone Biles, I would be repping too. All right, and the whole I saw some people were being weird because apparently he wore her gold medal. Like if you had a girl, right? If it was a guy and he let his wife wear the gold medal, we wouldn't be like, yo, that's a tough flex. Like get out of here. What are we doing? All right, what are we doing? But yeah, Simone, Goaty McGo, and shout out to Suni, Joe, Jade, Hesley, all of them. They're great. U.S. Women's National Team. Soccer. All right, soccer. The big 3. I mean, we talked about them, I think, last week, but we talking about them again this week, all right? The big 3 continues to deliver between Mallory Swanson, Sophia Smith, and of course, the hero against Japan. Yeah, Japan. Where that one went to extra time, but the hero, despite not being in her best game, but sometimes all it takes is a moment of brilliance. The breakout star of the entire tournament, I dare say so far, and that is one Trinity Rodman. But yes, the big 3, the biracial angels, as I've themed them, they have been pure magic, and yeah, Trinity saves us. Though Crystal Dunn, I've been very critical of Crystal, but she showed why she is still on the team. She had a great performance against Japan. Really, the whole defense. And once again, Naomi Girma, future captain, best defender in the world. What else do I need to say there? But yeah, we survived. We won very dominantly in this tournament, but we won nasty. I won real nasty this last time. So I like how that bodes for us. We need to play a little bit better against Germany, who we have next, and I believe the semis or the quarters. So yeah, need a better performance from, the team, but still, big 3, still cooking. Only thing I'm worried, though, is the injuries and the fact that Emma does not make a lot of... She's almost like Tibbs. For those that don't watch soccer and need the NBA comp, she's almost like Tibbs. She will run her core team nearly into the ground, and sometimes into the ground. She will stick to that. But, which can be great for chemistry and building a really good team and instilling confidence in them. But for the rest of the team, when those, players start to fall apart, it can be a little dangerous. So it's going to be interesting. I feel like we might be playing with fire a little bit. Julie Foudy said something similar. But U.S. Women's National Team looking like they got it still. Let's go to the pool real quick, yeah? Leon Marchand might just be the new Mike. All right, he might just be French Mike. He got 5 medals in total, but 4 golds, 4 Olympic records for Leon. Yeah, Bob Bowman looks like he's done it again. He was a star at Arizona State. He's a star for France right now. The hometown boy, all right, the hometown hero currently in Paris. Leon has the win in the 200 breast, the 200 butter, the 200 medley, and the 400 medley. Like I said, 5 in total because he was on a relay. But yeah, the only bad thing anybody can say about Leon is hasn't shown the best sportsmanship. There's been some snubs, specifically to the Chinese team, that have been caught. He's not the only one, but yeah, potentially a little bit of, again, if you're a high-level athlete, sometimes it comes with the territory, but a little bit of ego being shown by Leon. But otherwise, he has been one of the stars of this entire Olympics, and yeah, certainly looks like the next big thing in terms of men's swimming. So we will see what happens. But yeah, Leon looking like he might be following Phelps' footsteps, and those are mighty big footsteps because of course Mike is the GOAT, and not just like the GOAT in swimming. He might be top 5 athlete to ever step foot on this planet. So big shoes to fill, but he's done a great job so far. We will see what happens. Katie Ledecky, however, is firmly... we talking about GOATs. We just talking about GOATs right now. And we got to talk about the women's swimming GOAT. She's now the most decorated female swimmer of all time. The most decorated female athletes, I think, in Olympic history as well, with 14. I believe. I could be wrong with that. It might just be swimmer, but I think she's also the most decorated female athlete in Olympics history. But yeah, she's four-peated in the 800, only person ever to do that. The 1500, which honestly we just might as well rename the Katie Ledecky Invitational, even though Ariane Titmus was still, doing Ariane Titmus things. When it comes to this distance stuff, ain't nobody like Katie. Alright, simply put, ain't nobody like Katie. She continues to add to that absolutely ridiculous, like top 25 times in the history of the 1500. It's just Katie Ledecky followed by Katie Ledecky followed by Katie Ledecky. It's like that Drake lyric, right? My Mount Rushmore is me with 4 different expressions. The woman swimming for the 1500 is just Katie Ledecky with 4 different expressions. All right, simply but the GOAT. All right, the absolute GOAT. She's putting on, doing what she does. None better. All right, Katie Ledecky living up to the hype. Staying in the pool really quick. What happened today? Speaking of the 1500 on the men's side, the Americans. We have been held without, due to Australia's dominance, by the way, held without a swimming individual title, possibly for the first time in a very, very, very long time. Luckily, Bobby Fink came through. All right, he came through in the 1500 with a world record 14:36.7 to get it done. An incredible swim, and yeah, 1500, we popping, we running it right now. Shout out to Bobby, he gets it done. Let's go to the track. I know y'all couldn't wait. All right, y'all been waiting on me to get to this, so let's get to the track. 100-meter dash. All right, of course, Sha'Carri coming in with all the hype, but ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you, and she certainly reminds you, and also delivered her home country of St. Lucia their first ever medal, not gold medal, first ever medal, and it's golden. Julian Alfred is the fastest woman in the world, and I'm not surprised. If you watch what she did at Texas, and you know who Julian Alfred is, and I've seen it live and in person, you are not surprised by this. All right, and if you saw the way she ran in that semi, you're definitely not surprised by this. But yeah, Jules is in fact the fastest woman in the world. She does win. Sha'Carri gets second. Melissa Jefferson had a great day. Looked dangerous all weekend long. And she does, in fact, get that bronze. So, yeah, the Americans, 2 out of 3, first time in a very long time. We've done that in the women's side. But, yeah, still very, very cool. Very, very cool. And Sha'Carri, and again, we could maybe say maybe it was the rain. She just went. But I felt like Sha'Carri was never really at top speed. I never really felt like she wasn't in form this weekend. Like, she won the silver medal, right? She won the silver medal, so it's like I can't downplay that by any means, but she wasn't at her best, and Julian Alfred is just so fast and so consistent. I just always kind of felt like Jules had it, and then Melissa was very, very strong this weekend. Of course, the big story also outside of this was all of the Jamaicans gone. Shelly, something with the warm-up area, so she just kind of bowed out. I didn't see her statement, but she probably gave some more reason about that. I don't know how you messed that up. Apparently, Sha'Carri also had, issue with that, which again, if anybody in the women's 100 people that you would know, it's probably Shelly Ann Fraser-Price and Sha'Carri Richardson at the Olympics. I'm just saying. So they should, access shouldn't really be a problem. But yeah, Shelly drops out. Sharika also dropped out, probably to focus on the 200. But then she dropped out of the 200. So yeah, unfortunately, an injury has Sharika Jackson, who's the defending champion, out of that. Opens up the door. But yeah, the Jamaicans are out, but Julian Alfred has certainly arrived. Let's talk about the men's 100. Yes, Noah Lyles. Y'all were talking. I mean, he has this great quote that I love, and I live for. That he said when he won the world championship. They tried to say that I wasn't, but I thank God that I am. And he certainly is. After today, I don't want to hear any talk about the world, even though I was on, I guess Team NBA side. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it about, oh, he talks too much, he's too this, he's too that. When you can back it up the way that Noah Lyles can back it up, you can say whatever you want. And you know what else you can say about Noah Lyles, since a lot of people like to talk about Noah? You can also say that he's the fastest man in the world. And I'm going to go out and say, with all due respect to, the Bolt era 100s, this was the greatest 100-meter, lineup ever. It was also the fastest 100-meter. Everybody between 9.7, I think, 9 or 9.78 and 9.91. Everybody under 10 seconds. And everybody within, 12 hundredths of each other? Insanity. Nobody was lagging behind. Seville finished last, but he wasn't really lagging behind too much. So, yeah, an absolutely insane race. We thought Kashane Thompson, making his debut, the future of Jamaican sprinting, looked like he had taken the gold. But ladies and gentlemen, regardless of his start, nobody, and I mean nobody in the world, has a faster top speed than Noah Lyles. It's what makes him so great in the 200, and boy oh boy has it started to make him great in the 100. Delivers the goods for him once again. Again, that top speed is just different. He finishes different. It's just absolutely different. He carves up enough space, wins by, I mean, just like inches, centimeters, maybe even millimeters, that he beats Kashane Thompson, and he does get that gold. Fred Curley returns to the podium by getting that bronze, so 2 Americans on that 100. We love to see it. But yeah, Noah gets it done. Nothing else needs to be said. All right, nothing else needs to be said. He said it all, and then he backed it up. He stood on business. All right, I don't want to hear anything about how you feel about Noah Lyles and what he is. Noah backed everything up. All right, everything that was said, everything that was talked about, he backed it up. Pay the man his respects. Fastest man in the world. We'll see next week for 210 if he can go for that double, and I would definitely be betting on it. Shout out to Noah Lyles. And yeah, before we finish up here, Scotty Scheffler. I mean, him and Xander are just going band for band. I mean, they are going band for band, trophy for trophy this year, and who's going to win Golfer of the Year? If it's not Scotty on some craziness, it's Xander on some craziness. And for a second during this competition, it looked like Xander was going to pull it out, but Scotty Scheffler goes off for a 62 course record here at the Paris Olympics, and he takes the gold medal, just edges out Tommy Fleetwood with a 19 under to Tommy's 18 under, and yeah, wins the gold medal. I mean, Scotty, again, him and Xander, just again, like I said, band for band, trophy for trophy, score for score, which is great for American golf. I mean, it's been bliss, after seeing John Rahm and, whoever else in England just dominate for a little bit of their, the Europeans getting it done. Nice to see America back on top. But yeah, Scotty blacks out, takes the American Olympic gold in golf. So yeah, we love to see that. And I will talk about basketball very briefly. Which is pretty much that, the USA is doing business as usual. Anthony Edwards firmly, staking his place in that top 10 players in the world, maybe even higher. But I'll say top 10. Braun is still Braun, which we really shouldn't be surprised about. KD, of course, is arguably the greatest Olympic basketball player of all time. Nothing else needs to be said there. What else am I missing? Chef Curry. I don't know what the pot is overcooked right now because Chef Curry does not look like Chef Curry. So hopefully Steph reverts back to Steph because he has not been Steph so far. On the women's side, business as usual. Asia and Stewie killing everybody. So yeah, basketball cooking. We got the gold medal work next week, so we'll talk about that for 210. But yes, Paris Olympics cooking so far. All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that said, that brings us to the Roundup, which is, I'm going to be honest, it's MLB this week, okay? Because, of course, like I said last week, the Olympics is pretty much taking everything else that would normally be, in the Roundup. Racing-wise, F1 is on break. So, yeah. Baseball, welcome to the Roundup. Aaron Judge, welcome to, actually, you know what? Aaron is still doing the exact same things he's been doing for pretty much his entire career. Okay, I was going to say last 2 seasons, but honestly, his entire career, which is being the best player probably in baseball. 41 home runs, he's hitting 320 and getting mighty, if he isn't already. Actually, let's look that up. Let's find out. We have yet another live lookup segment, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take bets. All right, is Aaron Judge over 700? I don't know if he played today. Is he over 700 slugging? Let's find out. What are y'all thinking? I think he might be over. He's hitting 321. Excuse me. My bad, GOAT. My bad. Let's see. He is at 702. Natty Bonds is not that far off at this point. It's really not that far off. And honestly, if Bobby Witt Jr. wasn't playing like Bobby Witt Jr., okay, we would be talking about a triple crown. Same thing with Stephen Kwan, though. I got to pay my respects to Stephen Kwan as well. But also, shout out to B. Witter. 30 and 40, hitting the way he is, playing the defense that he does. Got to give credit to the boy. I got to give credit living up to the hype. But Aaron Judge, again, is just obscene. Okay, he's absolutely obscene. 2 home runs away from 300, which will be very, very huge. But yeah, he's unbelievable. Just an absolutely unbelievable talent. I thank God every day that he decides to be a Yankee. Because it just makes my life so much happier, so much easier. Life is good. Aaron Judge is the greatest. Thank you, Lord, for making Judge an Yankee. And he continues to mash. And the Yankees are actually winning games again. So that's fun. Jazz Chisholm, who I panned us for getting, apparently fixed all of our problems. And he is suddenly an all-star level outfielder. I don't know what happened, but you know what? Let us cook. All right, let the Yankees cook. Maybe it's going to work out. Also, Jackson Holliday, #1 prospect in baseball, son of Matt Holliday, if you for some reason did not know that already. Yeah, he's back, and yeah, Jackson doing Jackson things, looking the part. Grand slam for his first ever home run, hit another one today. He's looking like he's more comfortable this time around after he had a horrid first call up. This second call up, looking a lot better for Jackson. We'll see if he can stay this time. I think he is. But yeah, Jackson doing very well. And you know what? Let's talk about SummerSlam. Okay, what an event. Okay, what an event. All right, Roman Reigns, aura. I mean, if you look up aura in the dictionary, it's going to be a picture of Roman Reigns. Simply put, but he returned as expected. Again, and by the way, I think we've gotten misconceived with predictable being boring. Predictable doesn't always mean boring, and I think SummerSlam was a great example of that with it. Roman's, return, and that being just like an awesome moment. By the way, they spent 10 years, Vince spent 10 years trying to make him this babyface that Hunter made him in 2 years. All by doing what we screamed to let him be himself, turn him heel, and then when he comes back in the right story, now you have this super over babyface. And he doesn't have to change his character. He can be the exact same with slight evolutions, natural evolutions of character. So it's, how he should grow as the OG tribal chief, right? That's all you had to do. That's all you had to do. But you know what? I'm thankful for the process because it makes it sweeter now. But yeah, Roman's back. The Judgment Day just imploded. Damian is going to kill Finn, but it should be fun to see what Balor and McDonough do now as they've broken, or they might be Judgment Day and now the Terror Twins are gone. Because Rhea got, Dom Mysterio might be the GOAT. He might be the GOAT. I don't know how, is there like a limit on how many heel turns you can do as a heel? Like, he's like a Super Saiyan heel. Like, a heel just did a heel turn. Like, he's even more evil. Like, he's a super villain that made another, like he's even more of a supervillain now. Like, it's crazy. Just despicable. Slimy. Eddie Guerrero is just crying happy tears. And, that's my actual son. Because, yeah, Dom aligns with Liv. Actually kisses Liv. Which was shocking. But, yeah, he aligns with Liv. Rhea is going to kill him. So, yeah, everybody's dying on Monday. Punk might try to kill Seth, too. So, yeah, Raw is going to be very interesting tomorrow. But SummerSlam was electric. So, yeah, shout out to WWE. Another great PLE is what they're calling it now. So, yeah, they delivered. 209, hopefully it delivered. And, yeah, like I said, we got plenty to talk about next week. A lot of setups with Olympics and everything that's going on. House of the Dragon, we will see. By the way, I'm doing this roundup before I've seen it. So, hopefully the finale was good. I'm sure you'll be like, yo, Chris, you told us whether it was good or not. But I'm hoping that it was at least okay. All right, I'm hoping. But we'll see. You will know by now because you will see the entertainment segment. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed. Ocho signing off.